Hello, and welcome back, everybody, to today's weather tonight. Here, as always, I am your meteorologist for the evening, Cloud Hudson, and we've got a great show for you this afternoon. Let's go ahead and get centered, everyone. Smells good. Even when I don't burn this, when I ring the bowl with it, it releases scent. I think that's really cool. Okay, so what do we got to dig into today? Well, we've had some solar activity. We've got heating up of the tropics, and we've also got some earthquake news for you. So let's dive into. Let's start out by going to our volcanic activity. See what our volcano headlines are today. Later. Okay. Mount Ibu continues to explode. Mount Merapi has explosive activity. Semeru on East Java, Indonesia, has explosive activity. Dukono and Fuego, also under volcanic ash advisory center. Explosive activity continues at both of those. Nevado del Ruiz issued volcanic ash observed. Reventador and Sabancaya and Sangay, we are all looking at some sort of activity. Let's see if, did we ever land on finishing the explosion at Kilauea? Looks like it says paused. Eruption has paused on Saturday the 21st. So that one is not currently going on. Remember, I completely missed when we were looking at the Icelandic eruption. I missed our last eruption because I was in treatment. Okay, now let's go on over to Earthquake Browser. Look at time. Let's do yesterday to today. And to latest available. All values, all depths, and all data sources. All right, so right off the bat, we're noticing this big 5.4 here near the coast of central Chile. That is going to be, see in my little Earthquake 3D app, that's right there. That happened at UTC time 2:36 on September 9th. It was 66 kilometers in depth here in central Chile. I've also got a lot more showing up on Earthquake 3D than I'm seeing in the interactive earthquake browser. Oh, we've got a 5.0 here at the top of the world. 5.0 at the top of the world. That's going to be at 10 kilometers depth again. Only suspicious to cautious observers how many earthquakes happen there. I guess I got to figure out what that's all about. 5.4 down here in the middle of the Indian Ocean. We also had a 4.5 up here in Western China. A 6.0 pretty recently, actually, at 3:51 p.m. my time. So like just a little bit ago. It's at 149 kilometers depth. That's here in the rift, this zone between where it's Indo-Malay and Austro-Malay. I was just reading something about how there's different animals on one side than on the other. My mom sent it to me. Interesting. There's a really deep trench that goes right through here. I think it's called the Wilson line, and animals don't cross it. Right close to there, we got a 6.0. And then a 4.5 here on about like the inflection point of the curve in Indonesia. And we've got a 2.5 surface quake in Australia, 3.0 and 2.8 out here, both surface quakes on the other side of Australia too. Then we look at, we've got our barbells, which means a surface quake as well as a deep quake coming out here on the Fiji, Tonga Islands rift zone. I'm going to show that here. Oh. Yeah, there we go. If you'll load correctly. There we go. Here's that 6.0 and the 5.4, relatively shallow. Yeah, and a 5.1 and 4.9. They're not showing. Oh, yeah, because I'm zoomed in so far. You see, you've got the 4.5s down at the shallow 10 kilometers depth, and then these super deep ones at 550, 584 kilometers depth. That is definitely what we're seeing here with these barbells coming out between New Zealand and Fiji, really. Okay. So that's what we got going on there. We got a 4.5 and 4.8 as we move up through the Marianas Trench region. That brings us to a 4.5 up here near the Kuril Islands. We've got a very recent quake. Most recent quake is a 2.2 at 0 kilometers depth, right at 4:30 p.m. in Hawaii. And lots of quakes stacked up at the geysers in California. But as we see, it's not of very significant note. Oh, a 4.4 out here on the, let's see, Point Noir, Guadalupe. Not really sticking out on the interactive earthquake browser map. Not sticking out a whole lot because these are all surface shallow quakes. Not too much else to talk about with earthquakes. Other than this 5.0 at the top of the world, we don't get those very often. I mean, it's a place that we do see them. Yeah, so big headline, this magnitude 6 here in the Minahasa Peninsula of Sulawesi. And Comedic Islands is where we're centering this big 5.1. Okay. So that is, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's go now to check out our weather because we've got lots of it. Invest area 97L is future Helene. So now we've got that to talk about. Oh. Sorry, I thought that was one of my viewers calling to tell me that my audio wasn't on, but that's not what's going on. Audio seems to be working perfectly. Let's see. Yeah, we're coming up on Tropical Storm Helene. We got a future track for her right here. Projected path going up through the panhandle of Florida and into the Carolinas, coming right for me, actually, into the Southern Appalachians. We're just going to thread the needle, and it looks like when we get to this pinch point between the Yucatan Peninsula and Cuba, we're going to go from a tropical storm to a hurricane. That's expected 8 a.m. on Wednesday. So we're looking at a depression today. Hopefully we will be at a tropical storm by 8 a.m. Tuesday. 2 p.m. Monday, we're looking at barely making it into a depression. And this zigzag path is because of another storm region front that's coming in over the plains over the plains I don't know what else I was trying to say. It's going to zigzag because it's going to interact with that trough, and then the trough will pass, and then it'll be able to take its more northwestward motion. But this is where we're looking at tropical storm arrival. Looking at anywhere in the Carolinas, we're looking at the end of the week, but we could be feeling the effects in Florida as soon as Thursday morning, probably Wednesday night in the Florida Keys. Let's see. Current satellite loop of the storm. It's not showing a loop, very loosely defined here, so we're not really well defined enough to be a depression yet. Ocean heat content around the storm is really high, though. That's a really striking graphic. Let's look at these floaters. Beautiful, beautiful. So that is, you see these plumes of convection starting right here. They're starting to all organize in this mass. So you see the counter rotation at different levels of the atmosphere. Down near the surface, we've got a anticyclonic flow, and then at the top we've got a cyclonic flow at the bottom and an anticyclonic flow at the top. These upper clouds, the more saturated color here, that's the lower level there. Let's see, that's let me actually see if this will let me look at. I wonder if it has a floater on this that I can look at yet. Look at storms. File system outage. Oh no. I don't like that. Yeah, let's see what they got for potential tropical cyclone 9. No viewers yet. That's cool. That's fine. Just doing this for myself, for you guys when you eventually get here. Sorry if I'm doing my neck. I've been wearing a one-shoulder backpack recently to get on a hike, and I really shouldn't have, because that was bad for my neck and my back. This is just pitiful. Sea surface temperature is really, really high. We're like 30 plus degrees Celsius. That's a lot. That's a lot of available energy. Wind shear around the storm is highest on this, just on the northeast quadrant of it. You don't want to see too much shear right over top of the storm, but the fact that we're getting shear over land next to the storm means that there's probably a good bit of storm brewing there. What else can we look at? Here's our spaghetti models. So pretty confident that we're going towards the Florida Panhandle. Where we're not as confident is where it'll take, what type of track it'll take once we've made landfall. But I mean, they're really not that far off from each other. They've all got it doing that zigzag path, that wavy path, due to the troughing down from the continental United States. Can I get the satellite floater better here? I think this is going to work better than data type. Let's get water vapor. Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh, let's look at the Dvorak technique. Coloring, I like that. Of infrared. Oh, there we go. Finally. Okay. See if sandwich RGB is available for this floater. Oh, that's what we had on the other. Shortwave, red, upper level. Let's look at upper level. There we go. There is the upper level. So you see this almost clockwise rotation here. That's because it's moving up and out, spreading away from the storm at the top, spouting out. That is the shape of the storm we want. Convergence down below and divergence up top. That's like a divergence is like creating a vacuum, a suction that's like sucking the storm up through a straw. You can think of the eye of the hurricane as like a vertical straw, and you want flow in at the bottom of the straw so you can have flow out at the top of the straw. So that's that's like how you can remember whether you want cyclonic or anticyclonic rotation at the lower or upper level. You want slightly anticyclonic rotation at the upper level because that means it's going out, going away. Yeah, we're looking at central pressure around 1004 millibars, winds around 30 miles per hour. So not that strong yet, but this is a healthy looking invest area, healthy looking tropical storm or tropical invest area. I can't call it a tropical storm or depression yet, but we are well on our way to becoming a depression. Just like somebody who hasn't showered in 3 days and forgot to brush their teeth all week, we are well on our way to a depression. Is that funny to you guys? Do you understand what I mean? Talking about a tropical pressure depression, but I'm also making a joke about mental health depression. Okay, I can say that because I'm a meteorologist who has mental health. Well, we all have mental health, but I have mental health issues. Speaking of my issues, though, I'm feeling pretty good. I am feeling pretty dang good mentally today. I do have, it's getting dark outside. I guess it is 4:57 on September 23rd. So I guess that makes sense. Mid-level. Yeah, I wanted to look at lower level water vapor. Oh, that won't. It doesn't show me. I want to look at the GIF animation loop. Yeah. Show me the lower level. Should be going this way. We've got a little bit more of that cyclonic showing, but really not too much. You see a little bit of the curling this way. So if we get some of that more cyclonic wind flow at the lower level, then we'll start organizing well. I think the geometry of the land masses here is going to help shape this storm up, because if you imagine remember that all the land masses are going to slow the winds down. They're going to drag a little, add friction compared to being over water. And this will kind of spin up the storm in the right way, I think. It does look like it's heading straight for Cuba right now on this band, this wavelength band, but I believe that we are headed for threading this little needle right here. Okay, let's see. That's not what I wanted. Let's go to anything else I want to say about potential future Hurricane Helene. We're in a hurricane watch for some places. So we're looking out for Helene. She is making her way downtown, walking fast, faces past, and she's homebound. Let's see. Anything else? Not much else that I want to talk about. I guess I could talk about the water vapor over the rest of the country that's actually actively happening. Let's go to look at, I just had it up, but let's go back to check out if we can get our derived motion winds up. Yeah, so we see remember the red barbs are the upper level winds, the cyan barbs are mid-level winds, and yellow barbs are lower level winds. So like I was saying, we've got that clockwise rotation at the upper level and counterclockwise rotation at the surface, and kind of a weird mix in between for Helene, or what will become Helene. Up here, this is where we are seeing that troughing that is going to affect the path, the trajectory of Helene. It's swooping down here and currently taking some of this energy off of Texas, kind of ramping off of the Sierras here. And that actually could account for why it's so overcast and dark where I am right now. Maybe even a little bit chance of scattered thunderstorms, not thunderstorms, but a little bit of chance of rain here. Definite chance of rain throughout this area where the fire hose is, where the big spray of water looks like it's going. This is that trough. You see this really sharp turn in where we go from winds coming towards the south to going back up towards the north. That is the really steep trough that's sweeping through here. And once that trough, it's not negatively tilted yet. It's still tilted such, well, wait, let me make sure my camera is showing you the right. Okay. This is still a positively tilted trough, but as it swoops through, it's going to do a negative tilt. And that is when we've got the most vorticity baked into this feature. So once this trough tilts down, it might, if the storm is close enough, we might even add a little bit of juice to a little bit of storm juice to Helene itself. In addition to kind of wobbling the track back and forth. So we're looking really closely at the winds that are sweeping across Montana and the Dakotas right now for our future track of Helene. Let's look at do I have a simulated radar on here? It's been so long that I forget what products I'm even working with. But never fear. I haven't forgotten how the weather works. If anything, by taking some time to reflect and look at the clouds, and by look at the clouds, I don't just mean internal introspection, looking at this cloud. I mean outside, looking at the clouds as a meditation mindfulness practice. I have gotten much more in touch with the weather than I ever have been before. Well, maybe not ever. I feel like I was really in touch with it when I took my comprehensive exams at the end of my meteorology degree. I was really in touch with how it works, but all life that unfolds really reveals a lot about how the weather works once you've got your good ground floor knowledge about the nuts and bolts of how this thing works. You can see these scattered thunderstorms popping up across Missouri and Kentucky, southern Illinois. Looks like we could spark up some convection like in Greenville, South Carolina, up near the Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina border. Really getting that nice convection going in these little plumes where it's white. That's a high, thick cloud. Let's see. Cold air mass is dark purple blue. Limb effects are purple. Let's see. Green, blue, green, warm air mass. Less moisture is oranger. So I'd say the blue is in the middle. There's not quite as much moisture right here, but as we get into this area of North Carolina, has got some decent moisture in it. I'd say Tennessee and North Carolina, you're not out of the woods for precipitation. You might get some up here near Sparta, North Carolina. Might be getting some right now. I just love looking at the RGB air mass data because it's so dang pretty. I love maps that are pretty because they tell you so much more information when you've got good color gradients. It just means a lot more, and the atmosphere actually does work in gradients, so it means a lot. Let's go now to see if the Schumann resonance data is available. Let's see if this has a new. Please read the latest news. What's the latest news? Is this why they're not putting up? They're not. Registered users. Oh, we're going to have to register. Okay. Well, that's why this hasn't updated, is because I'm not a registered user, and we're going to have to become registered users to see things. Okay. That sucks. Let's see if the Global Coherence Institute has anything for us. Schumann resonance's power. Looking a little decreased from yesterday, all across the board. Look at spectrogram calendar. Measuring all of our frequencies. Looking pretty nominal with just diurnal variations. Remember that the frequencies get charged up when there's sun shining on a place. Let's go now to our space weather, because that is one of the reasons why I was debating skipping broadcast today, and I decided not to because I thought, you know what, it's really important to get a broadcast in when we've had so much noteworthy space weather. Oops, I didn't mean to. I don't want to. I'm gonna make this a little bit more visible here. There we go. Move my face out of the way a bit. Oh yeah, and I do have this in the corner. I've got a water vapor satellite loop going just so we can see the trough, the current eastern weather maker, and the developing Helene out here. I believe that's not Gordon. That's whatever Pacific storm name we're on. And we did get a new earthquake, but I haven't checked how significant that is yet. Okay. I want to make this. Sorry, I keep resizing my windows because I'm just not satisfied with the way the layout is right now. Anyway, 9:23 on the 22nd, we had, let's see, 30. We had 38 coronal mass ejections yesterday. Some of them were pretty significantly fast, like this one. Wow, look at that. That's a big boy. That's a big boy. Still no partial halo associated with it, but a noteworthy coronal mass ejection nevertheless, combined with this 1952 and 18 38, and that's how fast the wind is going. Those are some powerful winds. And then we've had 3 coronal mass ejections today, one at just after midnight UTC time, one around 2 a.m. UTC, and one around 7:30 UTC. So let's take a look at what that has meant for our solar flares. The forums are discussing solar demon ? Oh yeah, there we go. That flare that produced that coronal mass ejection, that was a M3.77, so a pretty decent one. Right around 21:30 UTC. Currently it is, oh, I always forget the conversion. It's like 20 UTC is around 4. Anyway, I think that's around, that would be around -7 to Eastern time. 21 -7, 14, around 2 o'clock yesterday. Hey, it would have been while I was broadcasting yesterday. While I was broadcasting yesterday, we had a big solar flare. What a shocker. And then this is around the time I intended to broadcast today when I made the decision to broadcast. So I'm going to take credit for these M flares because in my timeline, they're happening whenever I decide to engage with this show. That is totally self-centered and not how this works. This is incredibly not even how spiritual science works. It's not how real science works. This is just me kind of bullshitting. Okay. Yeah, saying that the coronal mass ejections happen whenever I'm doing something on my right timeline. That's really self-centered, ego-seeking thinking there. Active geomagnetic conditions started today. We reached a KP4 at 14:34 UTC. Let's see, minor R1 radio blackout in progress, and then we had a minor 1.35 M class solar flare right after that started. Let's take a look at our sunspot regions. I think this one is what gave that big launch the other day. Let's go down to the very bottom and look at it. Look at that. That's looking gnarly. It's already a beta gamma type configuration as it rotates onto the Earth facing limb. And yeah, that did produce the M1.3. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. We are looking at an increase in solar radio flux. Let's go back to the dashboard. What is our solar protons look pretty calm. Far side looks very active. Let's see if we've got any good video here of the coronal mass ejections. Up here. Looking for something here. Coming from here. Hopefully. There's a big one up there. There we go. Oh, that's a good, okay, that's got a good filament on it too. Might have been a filament launch. Yeah. Let's take a look at that in our SDO imagery. I want to see this in 304, right? Because that's good for plumes of plasma. That should show our filaments pretty well. Oh. Stay hydrated. Hydrate or dihydrate. brew up some trouble with that filament tornado down there. Maybe the jetting out is where we got that launch. That's it right there. It was coming actually from this new sunspot region. You can see that big chunk. Ooh, yeah. It just comes out of nowhere, explodes from it. Beautiful. That's really cool. So it wasn't so much a filament launch as it was a true coronal mass ejection. Man, what a way for this region to make its presence known on the scene. Just give us a great big flare, big coronal mass ejection. That's really exciting. And look at all that arcing out. Man, we are in for some really fun space weather. Let's take a look at what that means for our magnetosphere. Are our conditions pretty stable still? I remember yesterday we had some interestingly low density, low plasma density, pretty normal looking wind speeds and magnitude, but they are very bubbly. Okay, yeah, our density has kind of built itself back up. Okay, yeah, we're looking at, yeah, ooh, yeah, there's a lot of plasma density coming. This is also the day, like right after the equinox, and solar activity is usually pairs best with the Earth's magnetic field when we're at the equinox, because we're kind of in that perfectly upright. It's not exact. The Earth is always tilted, but we're we're kind of upright magnetically with respect to the incoming magnetic fields. Oh yeah, and we have built our pressure back up from all those waves of dense plasma coming. And our little protection belts, our little contact lens and ellipse of influence here are showing a lot more power and pressure. Okay. Let's take a look now at, oh yeah, and that cleared up. There was a bit of a contact with the Earth there for a second at dawn. On the like just towards dusk side of things. That might be where the moon is. I don't know. No, dawn, dusk. So the moon is moving towards being on the dawn side again. It might be right around here. So that's not exactly what I was thinking. Anyway, mumbling to myself about stuff. Let's go ahead and take a look at our planetary weather. Oh, hello. Hey, hi. Hello, Casey. I'm glad you're here. Hello to everybody else watching. So far, I got 3 viewers. So what you've missed is we've got tropical storm. Well, we're getting future Hurricane Helene is working itself up into a frenzy. None of these are what I want. We had some M-class flares paired with coronal mass ejections that came yesterday and today that we're really excited about what that's going to do to our space weather. We've also got, we had a 6.0 earthquake over in Sulawesi in the islands, Oceania. Why am I drawing a blank here. On near the island of Sulawesi, we had a 6.0 earthquake and a handful of 4s and 5s around the world. And our volcanoes are pretty much nominal. Everything that was erupting is still erupting. Nothing has stopped erupting or started erupting. And weather, we're looking at scattered thunderstorms throughout the mid-Atlantic, that Mason-Dixon line area of the South. And we're keeping an eye on this plume of this trough that's going to eventually interact with Helene. Let's see. I've got the water vapor satellite image up on screen right now because we are taking a look at, this is the area where Helene is developing, right like south of Cuba there. You see this fire hose that is headed up towards, like from Texas towards Michigan. That's what's currently producing some rainfall, scattered showers. And the big swooping area of moist air up in the Pacific Northwest to the high plains, that's going to be the trough that will eventually interact with Helene to throw it off its track into kind of a zigzaggy motion. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Hold on. How do I resize this again? That's not what I want to do. I want to do that one and resize it. There we go. Haha. Sorry, got out of control there for a second. I need an OBS coordinator. Not an IBS coordinator, an OBS coordinator. Though it's fine if you have IBS. We're not going to discriminate. Anyone who can work open broadcasting systems, I don't care if you have IBS. I want you on my team, you know? Okay, you could do that job from the toilet and you'll be fine. What was I saying? We are now looking at our planetary weather. Okay, we have officially got Venus ingressed into Scorpio. Venus is in her fall there. Is it her fall or her detriment? I don't remember which one. I think it's in her fall because she rules Taurus. She has a bad time in Scorpio. She's just not herself in Scorpio. She's very possessive, penetrating, bore a hole through your soul, kind of staring at you. It's all about the eyes. Scorpionic tendencies with Venus tendencies are not fun for those of us who don't enjoy an intense Romeo and Juliet, I'm going to die over you kind of love type of obsession. But this is also a really good indicator, more in the more mundane realm, not taking Venus as an indicator of relationships, but taking Venus as an indicator of weather. Venus in Scorpio usually goes along with the wet season of the fall and winter times. So throughout this Venus transit through Scorpio, through the fixed water sign, we are going to expect some cooling, wetting, dampening of Venus is a hot and wet planet, I believe, and Scorpio is cold and wet. So this is probably putting a chill on things, putting a damper on things. Definitely hurricane season material. Definitely hurricane and fall, rainy afternoon, moody, emo shit kind of vibes. And is it raining outside right now? Yes, it is raining outside right now where I am. So, haha, that is perfect timing. Yeah, it's that like overcast, gloomy, dreary, emo Scorpio, like classic fall. I want to make some soup weather. That's a good indicator for Venus in Scorpio, I think. Soup weather and like pumpkin spice lattes and all those wet warm and warm because it's cold outside kind of indications of fall. The more moist and fertile kind of indications of fall. What's still alive is the heart, the hearth, the home, that kind of stuff. We also had the sun move into Libra yesterday. We've still got Black Moon Lilith and the South Node in Libra here. So the sun is about to move into the South Node's position. They're coming towards each other. We've got the moon conjunct Jupiter here in Gemini. And if we look at it, I said that this is dawn, right? When we were looking at the geomagnetic field, I was trying to figure out what that big weight, what was dragging the pressure higher in that one quadrant of Earth that was towards dusk. I think that was exactly in the direction of this Jupiter moon Gemini conjunction. Let me bring that back up, what I'm talking about. Here, look at the connection of the pressure right here. This is dawn, so this is where the sun is, and this is dusk, so it's the anti-sun point. And right there, right like square to where dawn is where we saw that connection point, that pushing in. So I don't know. I wonder if there's any sort of connection there. Okay, let's go back to, it could have also been from, you know what, it could have been kind of an echo. Oh no, this is east. This is east. So this would be, because this is dawn, this is dusk, this is where the sun is. This is the anti-sun point that got pushed in. That's probably from like a little burp, like a little backflow of wind. I bet that we're going to see this have some backflowing wind direction. Yeah, that's probably what the pressure is from, is the backflowing wind in the interplanetary in the magnetosphere. Anyway, moving on. That is making a rough, it's making a square to Saturn in Pisces and a rough square to Mercury in Virgo. Mercury in Virgo knows exactly where every little thing goes and knows what needs to stay and what needs to go. Very decisive and judgmental, but in the ways that those things can be good qualities. Let's see. We've got Mars in Cancer still. Also not a happy placement for Mars. So Mars and Venus are both in signs that they are not really themselves in. So we can probably see people being a little bit aggressively possessive about their home space and their heart space. Other than that, we do have that grand water trine applying to that grand water trine as Mercury moves through here, and Mercury is in the sign it rules, so that's a plus. Yeah, let's see. Moving ever closer to that new moon eclipse that'll happen in Libra. Okay. Your Scorpio moon, Cancer rising, Venus in Leo. So I'm a dark mess. I think Venus in Leo is a fantastic placement. You probably have really good disposition to love yourself. Oh, hot cider. Yes. Carolyn, I've never had cider. I'm allergic to alcohol, but I do love hot tea. I'm also allergic to alcohol, and you can have non-alcoholic cider. You just like, there's an apple cider that's made that doesn't have alcohol in it. You have to, I don't know where you get it, like if they sell it at grocery stores everywhere or just in the area where there's a lot of apples. But in my area, there's somebody at the farmer's market that sells a non-alcoholic apple cider that's really good. Or you can just add apple juice to your favorite spiced hot tea, like a pumpkin spice mix or like a chai spice, a pumpkin chai spice tea. Add some apple juice to that. It's really good. I used to work at Starbucks, and I figured out that like they have a whole drink menu of steamed apple juice based drinks. Who knew? I had no idea. But you can get like steamed apple juice as a base of the drink, and it's really good with the chai. Ooh, I have pumpkin pie chai spice loose leaf tea. I might want to brew a pot of that. Yeah, I think that's the vibe of the day is making ourselves some soothing tea. Warm cider is spiced and generally no alcohol. Yeah, I think those of us who are allergic to alcohol out there just think of hot cider as an excuse to drink. So I can totally understand why Casey thought that it all has alcohol. Because I usually think that. Okay, let's move on to doing a little vibe check of the I keep clicking on my broadcast page thinking I'm in OBS, and I'm not. I'm in a different page. Woo, you're seeing behind the scenes here. Oh god. Okay. All right. Let's see. I've got a tarot deck with me right now, and so I'm going to do a little bit of a vibe reading. I think I'd actually never seen non-alcoholic cider, but I do come from an alcoholic, so yeah, that makes sense. That makes it even more impressive what you told me yesterday. That means that you're one day away from 10 years sober. Everyone, round of applause for Casey in the chat. Very inspiring, and also makes me feel good that I'm on the right journey to see the connections of our paths. You know, makes me feel like I'm supposed to be doing what we're doing. I'm proud of you. Okay. Let's do the Wild Unknown Tarot. And we're gonna get a reading. How many cards do I want today? I think 3 are gonna come out. One just tried to jump out there. Let's see if it comes out again. Okay. 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 So for today's vibe check, we've got the Chariot reversed. And in this deck, the Chariot is represented by a horse. It's got a moon and a pentacle on it. And then we've also got the 3 of Wands reversed, and also reversed the 5 of Pentacles. So, let's start with the Chariot reversed. Maybe this is a breaking time. This is not a breaking time, but a braking time. This is time to pump the brakes, settle down for just a second, take a look at, what we're doing this fall season, what we're doing this eclipse season. Let me look at because the Chariot is all about forward movement, direction, strong will, triumph, the reading for the Chariot upright is: the Chariot is your confidence, your will, and your inner warrior. At points in your life when you felt the bliss of achievement or triumph, you were riding on his back. Build a relationship with this part of yourself. Try to see the Chariot inside you. The more focused your mind, the easier it will be to sense his presence and stay mounted on his back. With a fixed gaze and a sure footing, you will be headed toward all you dream of. So, for taking that in a reverse direction, let's really align ourselves with ourselves. That seems like an internal reflection day kind of thing. Maybe even reflecting on our codependence, reflecting on where we have not been relying on our own confidence, where we haven't been forging our own soul's discernment yet so far. The Three of Wands, which is really pretty in this deck. I was showing the Four of Wands, but the Three of Wands is envisioning and the future. And this is looking kind of like a portal or a seeing eye of some sort. The Three of Wands in the upright position indicates you've had continued support from others, perhaps from your parents or two good friends. With their help, you've formed a sense of self, of your values and morals, but now it's time to really rely on yourself for guidance. Clarify your goals and cast others' needs and opinions aside. The future is infinite and it is yours. No one else can see through its layers of light and shadow. So, for reversed Three of Wands in this deck's interpretation of the Three of Wands, I'm going to say that I think we need to ask for help. So we need to reflect on what we have been, not very self-reliant with, but also know when to ask for help and when not to ask for help. And I think that the Five of Pentacles reversed is going to come back to explain what we mean by this. Because the Five of Pentacles is sadness, worry, and illness when in the upright position. But in the reverse position, the petal is no longer falling out of the flower. It's falling back into the flower. Maybe things that seemed broken are coming back into place. Things that seemed like a place of vulnerability or illness or brokenness are somehow becoming our greatest strengths. Five of Pentacles reversed. I'd say a freedom from worry, a trust in the process. We're going to get the opposite of anxiety, worry, stress, overthinking. Maybe we need to ask for help. Maybe we need to also take our own initiative. But I think that this card indicates that we're going to release our attachment to worry. Rely on meditation or visualization to find peace. I think we're meditating on that right now. All right. The Chariot reversed with the Three of Wands reversed really is feeling like teamwork, dynamic, trinity, expansion of the spectrum, but inward. What are all the ways you can show up for yourself? And what are all the ways that you've only been relying on other people to show up for you? And where can you actually show up for yourself this time? And then you'll be able to stop worrying when you can show up for yourself. That's what the vibe I'm getting from this spread today. And of course, remember, this is not ever like a deterministic thing. This is just like the vibe I'm getting from the cards today. I could draw these same exact cards another day and get another vibe. Okay, that is about it for the show today. I am going to go make some tea, hit a meeting. It's time to put away the stubbornness. Yes, that's going to be hard while Venus is in Scorpio, but I think that we can do it. Let's put away the stubbornness and stubborn reliance upon external help and show up for ourselves when we need to. Only ask for help when it's actually necessary. All right. I'm going to end the stream there. I love you guys very much. Hopefully I will see you tomorrow, and take care of yourselves. Bye.